Welcome, folks, to Studio 2. I'm really happy to have you here. If any of you are familiar with Joe Daly, you will know that he appreciates having the loudest breakout room at FinOps-X. But my name's Jonathan, and I appreciate it even more. So if you won't do it as a personal favor for me, you'll certainly do it as a favor to Katya, who you'll be hearing from very shortly. Please welcome to the stage very, very loudly, Katya with Growing FinOps, Self-Sufficiency, and Development Teams. Very well done, thank you.
Oh, it's already working. All the time I'm like surprised when it starts working. So yeah, we don't have a lot of time. It will be like a long session. I'm so sorry for that, but I try to make it shorter, but it's still a very big one. And my name is Ekaterina Zemliakova. You can call me Katya. And I'm working as Senior FinOps Analyst in Align Technology. And today I'm going to tell you how we are growing a self-sufficiency in our development teams. So speaking about Align, a lot of people while the conference ask me like, what Align technology is, and I'm like, no, you know that 100%, and this is like, then I tell them like, we're doing, one of our branches is in Invisalign, and we're doing aligners for the teeth. This is like a bracement replacement, and they're like, yeah, my kid is like using it, it's great. So I'm like, yeah, and you maybe have to use it too. Then. And the second is Ekaterina, this is intraoral scanner, and yeah, so we have like two main products. But before speaking about the cloud, maybe you have to learn more about how our main, like not the processes, like how our main cases work. Like we are doing the customized treatment plan for each patient we have, and we are printing the set of the aligners for each case. I think that one of our main achievements is that we are implementing FinOps for 6 years already, and we started doing it even before the name FinOps was invented. And so yeah, right now, regarding our assessment, we are about the walk phase, but sometimes we are, in some of the processes, we are like a run. We are working with 1,000 plus developers in 115 teams. So, what is the self-sufficiency and why it's so important for us? I have to say that you have seen that we have a lot of teams, but I can say that we are understanding what's happening in each of them. And I think that we are able to do it because of the trust which we put into these teams and self-sufficiency of these teams. And regarding the Oxford Dictionary, self-sufficiency is needing no outside help in satisfying one basic needs, but here is FinOps-X, and we are speaking about FinOps. And what is the FinOps self-sufficiency? This is knowing how and being able to carry out FinOps activities as well as making decisions based on the processes defined by centralized FinOps team using the tool available on the FinOps platform. Kinda long, but enough to understand how it works. So to ensure self-sufficiency, I think it's important to mention like three key things which you have to like provide in your company. The first is distribution ownership model. Next is the tool and processes, and the last one, but not the least, it's very important, is education. Today we will focus only on first two, but if you want to discuss education with me, we can discuss it after session, for example, but we don't have enough time for education too. Okay, distributed ownership model. Our distributed ownership model is based on the FinOps practitioners in Teams program. And this program takes place already for 2 years, and we are celebrating the 2nd anniversary this year. We started with the 15 practitioners. Right now we have 62 of them, and the coverage in the team is 82%. I have to say that FinOps practitioner, this is like a person in the team who supports some of the FinOps practices in the team and communicate with FinOps central team. This is a full-fledged role, like we support them with full tool set, materials, etc. And it's a little bit different from the popular in the FinOps community, FinOps Champions program, because in our company, this is a mandatory role. We started on a volunteer basis, but right now, each team have to provide us a FinOps practitioner. Here you will ask, like, 115 teams, 82% of coverage on the 62 FinOps practitioners. This is because some of practitioners can be practitioner in few teams, and that's why we have such amount right now. Yeah. So what distributed ownership model provide us? It helps us to separate the KPIs between us and the practitioners, and it helps us to distribute some of the tasks. And here at the right side, you can see that this is like the tasks of FinOps practitioners. They have some tasks in the areas of the budgeting, in the optimization, and in the tagging. And how it works, the process organized in such a way that they have their own task and they are able to use all the necessary tool and not go to us to do this task. They don't need to communicate to us each time to do something. As a result, like everybody can take a part in the FinOps approach building in the company, and we have some free time which we can spend on the making this process better and controlling the main KPIs of the FinOps practitioners. So next is the tooling and processes. But before speaking about the tooling and processes, I want to speak about the self-sufficient areas which we have right now. This is like right sizing is upcoming. This is what we want to have the next year to make it as self-sufficient as it's possible. But today I want to focus on the budget planning and array purchasing, because this is two very good examples of the self-sufficiency for us right now. And yeah, and it will be easy to explain you how it works in the real area and the real tool set and real processes. So budget planning. Here is like an evolution of the budget planning, starting from 2021. And the concept of detailed budgeting appears in our company in 2021, and it works like we plan. We did the breakdown by account, and we discussed and users' input. Then we created the forecast. It was a trend-based forecast for more predictable team. For less predictable teams, we do like individual cost models. In general, it took 2.5 months, like kind of long, and two people from FinOps practitioners took a part in it. And yeah, in 2022, we stopped planning on the account level and we're starting planning on the teams level. Here appears our first list of the teams, and it was 41 team. And only 95% of the budget calculation was supported by central team. So we communicated with all the teams to set up the budget. So we go to each of them, and it can be, for example, one team, and we discuss with them like 1, 2, 3 times how their forecast will look like, how their next year budget will look like. Yeah, we have a personalized meeting with each of them. It took 2 months, and it was 3 FinOps practitioners took a part in it. In 2023, we decided to make the process more informative. We decided to make it. Decided to support our nested budgeting system. This is when the sum of the teams equal to the budget to the department budget, and we decided to start teaching them how they can plan their budgets themselves without our support. And in 2023, we have already got 16%. Only 16% of the teams have individual meetings, and 95% of the teams plan the budget themselves instead of the previous numbers. And here we started to make the process more sufficient, but we are using wiki pages and Excel, and here was a problem with the scalability because it was a lot of manual work, but let's continue here. Here is a slide which can show you like how it works like right now. It works the same and in 2024 too. And the main key here that this is a good example how the tasks can be splitted in the well self-sufficient process. In the center you can see only 2 tasks which were migrated from us to the teams, but we already did our process like more lightweighted, and you can already see it in the example of 2023. So to make the process more independent, you don't need to provide the full process to the team. If you want to make them self-sufficient, you can provide them only a part of that, and then you can keep for you the control of the KPIs, for example, and providing them a tool set, and already it will be a more self-sufficient process than it was before. But yeah, everything is about like responsibility transfer, which we have. So, so this is like find the people who will be responsible for everything. Like this is a community or something, whatever you want, who will be responsible for this responsibility which you're transferring for them. The next one is a tool set which will support them, and next, how you will measure if they're good or not, if you notify them or not. This is like metrics and KPIs which you will implement into them, into this, all this stuff. Yeah, and again, who take a part in 2024? This is 70% was FinOps practitioners. So this is what I said at the beginning. This is a distribution ownership model. So these people became the base for us to transfer the self-sufficiency to them, the self-sufficiency of this process. And other roles, 30%, it was mostly the managers who still want like to control everything. But yeah, they control 30%, cool, they controlling it. The next one is that like in 2023, we identify some problems of the process. Like we provide the self-sufficiency, but we still struggle with the scaling. It was still difficult for us to scale because like we did a one step for scaling, like we say, like you are ready to do it, let's do it, but we wasn't ready to start the scaling. But the main goals for us, like to achieve the granularity and the ownership, and in the process which we have before, it was unreal to achieve this granularity and ownership, because then granular it become, then more content we have to check, then more numbers we have like manual review with our team. And yeah, the main another problems of the 2023 was like manual data entry, that we need to put everything in the wiki pages, put everything in the Excels, and like not to lose something. Calculation errors, because our team calculate everything themselves, and it can be super stupid errors. For example, they didn't calculate it right, they didn't sum up it right. Then is no version control. We keep everything in the wiki pages, and any team member who decided that he wants like 500 more, they just can go to the wiki page like and change, and like, oh yeah, I have 500 more, why you didn't mention it before? And the next is a lack of data nesting. Data nesting for us was very important, because we wanted to achieve the situation where we have like business unit, department, team, application, when everything is structured, when everything is well understood, because we have a lot of teams, I think so. And it was very difficult to work with them without data nesting. So next, here we understand that it's necessary to start the toolset development. And as I mentioned like earlier, we want to achieve that granularity, we want to achieve everything, and we set up few goals for ourselves. The first one, like to solve all the 2023 process issues, as I said before. Next is to cover 99% of the team and account with budget. Like sounds very as a very valuable goal, but we didn't have it before. Next one is to ensure. Next one is to gather all data necessary to support AWS budget creation, because we wanted to make it more informative. We want to automate. We want to gather everything to, for example, to create AWS budgets automatically without a lot of manual stuff like checking. And next is support work with the sensitive data, because we're still working with the money, we're still working with the budgets, and we cannot show it for everyone. And please pay attention on the number 4. This is like ensure the sum of the team budget equals to the department budget. And it's, again, it seems very easy, like it have to work like that, but it wasn't work like that before, because we have shared accounts, because we have some teams which is trying to share their resources between each other, and our teams, our AWS budgets, we cannot calculate them. For example, we have like a budget for full department, and we're trying to calculate the teams, and it's not equal to each other. And it was very confusing for them, because we cannot show them a real data, we cannot visualize it right, and so on. And so the solution was to organize a data collection method for budgeting with version control capabilities, which consists of 2 things. First is data collection, and the second is data storage. But here we will focus on the data collection today. And to achieve this data collection stuff and to achieve the budget data nesting, to achieve that nesting system, it was necessary for us to invent something what will support us. And it became metadata. This is a project, it's a very important project for us, which become the core of our existing budgeting, will become a core of our existing visualization, I can say. And this is like a tagging which help us to connect the different entities. And here is an example. For example, we have AWS budgets 2025, which we gathered this year, and now they can be connected to AWS budget of the previous year, because before the metadata, it was absolutely unreal for us. And the same, for example, using the visualization, we can use a cost and usage report and account list, and now everything is connected. And this metadata became the base for the FinOps platform. FinOps platform is an approach which we use for creating the applications. So in the base, this is metadata, this is focus, which is upcoming, and this is like data source and pipelines, which converted into, for example, forecasting on any other, transforming, and then this is a platform which help us to reuse our data sets and our data in the creation of the future data workflows and applications. So based on our existing goals and our abilities, we set up the requirements for this data collection, and the main requirements was like to do role-based access control, because we cannot provide an access for all the people to add the budget data. Next is the gather and validate budget data. So the data have to be gathered and data have to be checked, because before that we checked everything manually, and again scaling was unreal in such situation. Next is the save the latest data submission. Of course, if somebody is applying, we have to save it, and it has to be to save the last, because sometimes it can be few people who is checking the data collection. And the next one is provide a high-level analytics, of course. Later I will tell why you need this. And here you can see like how budget data gathering works right now. This is a web interface which was developed with the support of another team, which have already got a platform where they have developers who use it. And it was easy for us to put our flow there, because developers have already got an access. It's easy for them to understand how it works and find it there. So there you have like a drop-down list with all the teams for whom you have an access. You have to provide a lot of things, but we wanted to make it as informative as you can. They have to provide information about their optimization plan. They have to provide information about their general plans. They have to provide information about their accounts, their tagging, and calculation regarding their team. And if they have any application, like extra, they adding their applications or deleting them. And here is how we're supporting this nested system. They cannot just add the number for the team and then calculate it for the application. No, the team budget is a sum of the application budgets, and how it helps us to resolve some of the main problem which we have. And we have some pre-filled data which we get because of the metadata. For example, we add their accounts, we add their tags, we add their main users and managers, and the old budget of the previous year. And at the end, we show the summary and analytics. So here we slowly go to the metrics, and the metrics are showing immediately here. And this is how we get a previous effect. What we show at the beginning, this is a budget versus latest estimation. Then we show the budget versus FinOps central team forecast, and then we show the budget of the new year versus the budget of the previous year. And this previous effect help us to avoid budget padding and other behavioral issues in planning. And as a result, this year we managed to reduce the budget from the initial estimate by 20%. One of the examples, when one of the team decided not to use our FinOps QuickSight dashboard, which we use as the main source of truth, they decided to check their numbers in the dedicated accounts. And in these dedicated accounts, it wasn't switch on the distribution of the discount. And of course, their forecast was much higher than our forecast. And they notice it and go directly to us. And of course, after that, we drop down the forecast which they provided to us. And it's happened very quick, because it wasn't necessary for us to calculate it after. We just do it directly, and they provide already a right forecast. But not all the problems while budgeting can be resolved like that. We have two another examples of this here. The first one, it was typical miscommunication with the manager. Team planned the budget for the application, which will be available only in 2026. And the second, when the team planned the budget for the full year for the application, which will start only in Q3. And in such a case, we provide them an ability to do everything themselves, but we have to continue controlling that. And how we control it here, this is like our preliminary and post-analytics. This is the meetings with the teams who had problems before, or who is like, for example, top 10 budget spenders. And this is the approval levels. For example, it's few approval levels for our budget right now. So it's approved by our team, then it's approved by the department owner, and then we go to the finance intensity level. And here is, at the right side, you see like the main metrics which we used for preliminary analytics and post-analytics of the budget. So the results which we get because of that, this year 120 teams took a part in the planning, and 99% of the teams calculated the budget independently. We have custom meetings only with 26% of the teams. It's more than the previous year, but we have to remember, previous year it was 71 teams. Now it's 120 teams. And this is new teams which we onboard, and because of that we support them more to be able to calculate something. The process took 1 month, and only I took a part in it. You see this difference? It was like 2 months and 3 people, and right now it's 1 month and only me take a part in it. And moreover, it's very important that 95% of the teams in 2024 will be at or below the budget. Previous year, 30% of the teams was up than the budget. And this is because such a budgeting self-sufficient approach, it's in general influence everything. And it supports us in supporting the budget health during the year. And it helps the team to act as fast as they can about their expected overspend, for example. So it was an example of kind of very self-sufficient process. And let's go to the next process, which is not so self-sufficient right now. And you can maybe ask, how reserved instance purchasing can be self-sufficient? It have to be centralized. Nobody have to be allowed to do something in the rise regarding FinOps approach, of course. But yeah, what here? What the old process looks like. The old process was when I'm downloading the recommendation, and then I chop it for the different jury tickets. And then I send it to the users and waiting for approval, which can take a lot of time. And it's a problem sometimes that this process works for 3 years, I think. So I'm waiting for approval, then approval goes to me, and I purchase something. The main problems here was that this is a manual work again. I'm doing everything manually. I have a lot of teams. I have a lot of resources and a lot of recommendation. It took I don't know, I think that 30% of my working time or something like that. Then we have still unachieved KPIs, which is 70%. Then it's low utilized rights, and it was very time consuming, you can imagine, to understand where to send each jury ticket, and low ownership level. That time, it was sometimes not even necessary to find the owner each time. But it was before the implementing all this distributed ownership process. And but still, this process was very safe, because it was a lot of approves during that. Because like I creating the ticket, I approve it, then I send it to the owner, he approve it, and he send it back to me, and while purchasing manually, of course, I approve it again, and like super safe. And like we always know what's going on in accounts, and we're able to initiate some cost optimizations, etc. But during the years, and especially during class 2 years, we understand that more and more people become interested in FinOps in the company, and we find some loyal group of people who become like an owners, but not responsible at that time, but they become an owners. And after that, a little bit later, we have this FinOps practitioners and team program. But here become the moment when I was able to survey these people and make the process better based on the real data which I get from the survey, real data which I get from the from the discussion with them. I ask them about the experience. I ask them about like main problems which they faced while approval. And the main insight here was like team missed the tickets, and okay, it's like they just lost it. Okay, I lost it in the okay. We see that, and then it's that they don't have enough information for purchasing the approval for approval purchasing, and okay. And the one insight from me is that average ticket approval that time take 27 days. While 27 days, you can get 2 recommendations. 3 recommendations, like you can do it based on 7 days. Like, okay, it was too long for a RAI approval, to be honest. And based on this data, we decided that we needed to make the procurement process faster and more clear, and make team to make more active role in it. Because like losing the ticket, this is like not active role, because I'm just lose a ticket, I don't care, I just lose it. But you can make a file like hold there, but no, they just lose it. We need to make them want to take a part in it. So here we implemented a new process, and now FinOps team and FinOps practitioners can initiate this purchasing. From our point, sometimes we can purchase something ourselves without approval from the teams. We're purchasing ourselves only for the most like popular types. For example, here you see an example of the popular type, and this is RDS T3 type. You see that it's a little bit going down because we started using T4G, and here you see how it's changing. I have a laser. Yeah. It's on me. No, sorry. Okay, go back. So yeah, you see how T4G is replacing T3 as the most popular type. You see this is like amount of accounts which use it, and for us this is a popular type which I can purchase myself. I purchase it by like 50% and then later 25% and 25%. Before we will not achieve our KPIs, like which we have here, like 70% and 95%. Next, that we can create the ticket for the team to get their approval, and this is for not popular types. For example, R5 type, you see here like only 3 accounts use it, and all these accounts belong to the one team. In such a case, I'm creating a ticket, I'm go to the teams, and then discuss like why R5, okay, let's purchase, not purchase, and here discussion starts. And we add another line here, that the team can do everything themselves. Not everything, but they can like send me a ticket and ask like if maybe we can purchase it. So yeah, they started asking like, our resources meet all the requirements for purchasing, but why we don't have 100%? The answer here was like, because 100% equals 0 flexibility for us, and the second is that we're purchasing in the central account, and it will not be distributed for your account as you want it to be distributed. But we decided that we can fix it, we can change it, we can do something with that. And so here, the self-sufficiency of this process starts when we tell them, okay, you can create a request, but we will provide you all the necessary tool set for that. Yeah, very important goal was like to keep control, And for us, it was like centralized procurement. Only I can purchase arrays, nobody else can purchase, only I purchasing all the arrays. Approval approach. So without my approval, they cannot purchase an array. And the next is purchasing in Teams account. The purchasing in Teams account, as you know, regarding this distribution, can support you, like they at first just distribute the array in the account and then it goes to another account. And if the team will decide not to use these arrays, it will influence their budget and it will influence their costs in their accounts. As we know, developers' time is very valuable, and after reviewing the results, we decided that, results of the survey, we decided that it's necessary to do something what will be available, what will be useful for approving of our request and creating of their request. And we decided to create a dashboard with the functionality of array purchasing and approval. So we show their main metrics. This is like a general metrics for the team for array purchasing. Next, this is array recommendation list metrics. You know, like you can download the list for each type of the resources which can be purchased. And we are showing it like account data, general instance data, recommended purchasing, and expected saving. And then this is like resources metrics. And resources metrics is an interesting part because here we have our customized metrics. This is resource array coverage. And we calculated based on demand and reserve coverage over the week. Due to the normalized factor and distribution, you know that resources might not be fully covered, and that's why we calculated that if the resource covered less than 60%, we can tell that you can like purchase it. If it covered for more than 60%, it's not allowed to purchase. And now this is one of our key indicators for the array purchasing. So here is example of the tables which we have on our dashboard. And when the user so the user sees their recommendations, and they can click on one recommendation, and the full dashboard will be filtered, and especially will be filtered existing resources list. And then there they will find the resources which can be suitable for this recommendation which provided to them. Because one of the questions from them was like, for what we are approving, like which resources will be covered. We cannot tell them that exactly these resources will be covered, but we can, that here from this list they can understand maybe some of these resources don't have to be covered. Maybe it will not meet the requirements, and based on this data, they can do an approval or they can purchase. They can create a Jira ticket from the array recommendation list, just clicking there, and it will be sent directly to us, and then I started like approval process. And after receiving the ticket, I started like approval process. Here like a main data regarding how I approve it. We have a common, it's like, I think it's shared, everybody uses how to approve. And at the bottom, I approve the ticket from the team only if the total type coverage lower than 81% in the full accounts in all the company, and if the and I'm checking like their coverage in dedicated accounts. And for example, in production environment can be covered for 95% in their accounts, in dedicated accounts, not in total company. And staging and development can be covered up to 80%. So, but we still keeping this 81% coverage for all the resources. Here is example of the teams who is purchasing everything self-sufficiency. You can self-sufficiency, and you see like the coverage. It's close to 80%. This is one of the required levels. And here is like self-sufficiency teams utilization, like 100%, because they know what to buy and they know what they need. Results which we get. So yeah, speaking about reservation results, we have average utilization is 95% for resort instances, and we have covered 65%. To be honest, it happens because Isosphos is here, and we have a lot of migrations, especially Graviton migration, and it was difficult for us to purchase it and to keep the level because team have a lot of tests and resources was deleted. And right now, at the end of the year, we started the purchasing, and now our coverage is rising. Saving plans. It's perfect. Everybody have good saving plans coverage, I think. And operation results, we get a 3 times decreased amount of ticket for one purchase iteration. So it's decreased our manual work. Next, we have 9 times reduced ticket processing time, and we have 50% of existing saving belongs to the team who requested purchasing themselves. Yeah, and like why it's important to build the self-sufficiency and why it's important to build the trust here. I can say like first is like efficiency and scalability. Team can make decisions really faster. They can control what's happening. They can solve the problems without needing external approval and assistance of the central FinOps team. We can we can reduce a bottleneck by us, which we are making as a central FinOps team. Then that we are providing them an ability to improve the process. We have such an example that one of the teams who start taking part in this array purchasing process, they created an automated array purchaser, and now it's even less manual work from me. I don't need to do everything myself in the console, but they provide us a tool where I can do everything automatically. And of course, the growing of the ownership. The growth of self-sufficiency leads to increased ownership not only in the initial task which was provided, but in other tasks. And here is like a small demonstration of that. For example, when the team is planning the budget, and of course they're responsible for their budget, they more interested in the optimization. When they know what they're gonna optimize, or they already optimize, they can do something with the right purchasing. For example, the cases like, we will migrate to Graviton next 2 months. Please purchase these resources like in next 2 months, and they're sending a ticket, and of course I check it, and then I approve. And then when they understand what's happening with optimization and array, they can plan their budget more sufficient. So I think that that's it. You can connect me in the LinkedIn if you want, and yeah, thank you. Sorry for presentation things, but yeah, thank you everyone. We can do that questions because we have 6 minutes left.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, if
I have bad news and good news. I'll do them in reverse order. Good news, I have a floating microphone that I can toss at you if you have a question. Bad news, I don't play sports, so the first throw is going to be kind of messy. Who has a question for Katya? All right, I see one in the back. Are you ready to catch this?
But not very difficult, please, question.
It is quite soft. If it hits your head, nothing bad happens. Here we go. Yeah, we win.
Hi. My question is around your focus has been on teams. How does it surface up to products? Where you've got a product which is managed by multiple teams. How do you manage that kind of cloud spend? Do you split it across, okay, or how does it kind of then bubble up?
I didn't understand the question. Can you repeat again, please?
Okay, so the question is, your focus today on your discussion is about teams.
Yes.
Having their own kind of budgets and being able to manage them. How does that surface up to a product which is made up of multiple teams?
Oh, to be honest, like, we don't have a lot of products which is doing with the multi-teams.
Okay.
Like most of our products is done with, right now we are facing some of the cases which is doing with the multi-teams, but these decisions, they are more like for the, most of our teams is like only one team doing one product, to be honest. It's work like that. But we are going to the questions about like how we are sharing it like in the multitasking. But for example, if it's like, it's a product which is done with the multi-teams, you can find the one FinOps practitioner in one of the teams, and he can handle all the tasks which I provided right now. It can be a case. It can be done like that.
Next question. Shoot your hand in the air. Okay, got to toss it over right here to this gentleman.
Oh no.
Ah, that was really good.
Okay, I got it. So my question would be to the very beginning, to the instilling of FinOps practitioner within every team. Because we tried it in our company, and yeah, apparently we have, but I think we lost track somewhere on the way. And what are the requirements to be, well, accepted as a FinOps practitioner? Is it just completing the this FinOps Foundation exam? Do you need to take some responsibility on you? Do you have then some KPIs on you? Well, how do you track it?
Yeah, I can say that in our case, it was that we because we work, as I said, for 6 years, and this FinOps practitioner program is only 2 years old. We have already have this people who is very interested in it, and others people, when we go to the manager and say like, who's like the most active, and he just choose somebody who have this time, who is very active, because all the people who is just like, you know, they're not active, they don't care, they don't do education, they just gave up it. We have some practitioners who was like that, because like all of them, they just have to be proactive. But it's a good source. It was a FinOps Champions article in the FinOps.com. You can check it there, or I can send it to you, and there I will mention the main characteristics of the people who can be FinOps champions.
Okay, but then you keep a tracker of who's the FinOps practitioner within each team, or then you just expect this FinOps practitioner to be then you just approach the team saying, okay, we do budgeting, you better have the FinOps practitioner within the team, or you just have a tracker knowing that this team has this FinOps practitioner. Okay, got it.
Joe Daly behind us gets really upset when you are too loud, so please clap too loudly for Katya.
Thanks for watching. Check out more FinOps X Europe content on our YouTube channel playlist. Like, subscribe, click the notification bell, and leave comments and questions for speakers to help our channel. We appreciate your support.